Hello students, today I am going to deal with front of thigh. So this part is front of thigh. It is a region extends from pelvis to the knee. Now some important surface landmarks. First is fold of groin. A groove is present between anterior aspect of abdomen and anterior aspect of thigh. This groove is known as fold of groin. So this is fold of groin. Next is anterior superior iliac spine. The upper part of thigh, on the lateral aspect you can feel a arch like structure, bony arch, and this is an iliac crest. Anterior most part of iliac crest has a prominence known as anterior superior iliac spine. So this is anterior superior iliac spine. Next is pubic tubercle. The lateral part of pubic crest has a bony prominence known as pubic tubercle. This is pubic tubercle, and this gives attachment to medial end of inguinal ligament. This green structure is inguinal ligament, and lateral end is attached to anterior superior iliac spine. Now the greater trochanter. On the upper lateral part of thigh there is a bony prominence known as greater trochanter. So this is greater trochanter. Next is midpoint of inguinal ligament. This green structure is inguinal ligament, and midpoint is known as midpoint of inguinal ligament. So this is midpoint of inguinal ligament. Another term related with this inguinal ligament is mid inguinal point. Mid inguinal point is a midpoint of a imaginary line extends from pubic symphysis to the anterior superior iliac spine. So this is mid inguinal point. The difference in between midpoint of inguinal ligament and mid inguinal point is that this mid inguinal point is present little medial to the midpoint of inguinal ligament. Now the adductor tubercle. On the lower medial side of the thigh you can feel a prominent bone on the medial condyle known as adductor tubercle. This is adductor tubercle, and this gives attachment to adductor magnus muscle, and epiphyseal line of lower end of humerus passes through this adductor tubercle. Now the patella. You can feel a triangular bone over the anterior aspect of knee. This one is known as patella. Next, sartorius muscle. One oblique muscle is present over the anterior aspect of thigh, and starts from supralateral and going downwards to the infromedial side. So this is sartorius muscle. It is a strap muscle. Next is quadriceps femoris muscle. Just below the sartorius muscle there are group of 4 muscles present known as quadriceps femoris. So these are the muscles constituting quadriceps femoris. Next is adductor longus muscle. The upper medial part of thigh you can feel another muscle known as adductor longus muscle. This one is adductor longus muscle. Now the femoral triangle. On upper 1/3 of anterior aspect of thigh there is a depression, triangular depression known as femoral triangle. This yellow dotted line shows femoral triangle. Now the important structure deep to the skin is superficial fascia. It is made up of 2 layers. superficial fatty layer and deep membranous layer, and it is continuous with the superficial fascia of abdominal layer. And these two layers are more distinct in upper part of thigh, and in lower part it mostly they are adherent. Deep layer of superficial fascia is loosely attached to the deep fascia except a line known as Holden's line. So what is Holden's line? Holden's line, this green line is a green horizontal line is Holden's line. It starts from pubic tubercle to the lateral side up to 8 centimeter. So here the deep fascia is firmly attached to the deep membranous layer of superficial fascia. It has a very clinical importance that it prevents the extravasation of urine from the abdomen to the thigh. If there is injury to urethra, there will be extravasation of urine or collection of urine in the various spaces like superficial perineal pouch and deep perineal pouch just above the perineal membrane. Then there will be collection in the anterior abdominal wall. Then it extravasate into the thigh, but because of the Holden's line it does not appear in the thigh. That's why its name given Holden's line, because it holds the urine. Now superficial fascia contains various the moderate amount of fat, cutaneous nerves, cutaneous arteries, great saphenous vein and its tributaries, superficial inguinal lymph nodes. We will see one by one. First of all, cutaneous nerves. The cutaneous nerves supplying the anterior aspector of thigh, they are derived from lumbar plexus. So before going to the cutaneous nerves, let's see little bit about the lumbar plexus. Lumbar plexus is formed by anterior primary MI of L1, L2, L3, L4 and L5. They join each other and form lumbar plexus. Now the branches, L1 gives two branches, iliohypogastric and ilioinguinal. L1 and L2 join to form genitofemoral nerve. L2 and L3 join to form lateral cutaneous nerve of thigh. L2, L3 and L4 join to form femoral nerve and obturator nerve. Okay. So these nerves supply the anterior aspect of thigh. The areas supplied by these nerves are divided or separated by these red dotted line. First is ilioinguinal nerve. The ilioinguinal nerve is present on the inguinal medial most part of the upper part of thigh and it supplies the inguinal region. Then femoral branch of genitofemoral nerve supplies the upper middle part of thigh before sartorius muscle. Or above the sartorius muscle. Then lateral cutaneous nerve of thigh, the area below the sartorius muscle is divided into three parts: lateral, intermediate and medial. Lateral part is supplied by lateral cutaneous nerve of thigh, and intermediate part is supplied by intermediate cutaneous nerve of thigh, and medial most part is supplied by medial cutaneous nerve of thigh. The area below the ilioinguinal nerve is supplied by cutaneous branch of obturator nerve, and the area medial to the patella or infrapatellar region is supplied by saphenous nerve. So these are the nerves supplying the anterior aspect of thigh. Now the patellar plexus. The nerves around the patella forms a plexus known as patellar plexus, and these are the areas supplied by patellar plexus. So the nerves forming this patellar plexus are anterior division of lateral cutaneous nerve of thigh, intermediate cutaneous nerve of thigh, anterior division of medial cutaneous nerve of thigh, infrapatellar branch of saphenous nerve. Okay. Now the cutaneous arteries. There are three main cutaneous arteries: superficial external pudendal artery, most medially, you can see in this photograph. Then medial superficial epigastric artery, and then superficial circumflex iliac artery. They are the branches of femoral artery, and they accompany the veins of same name. Now the great saphenous vein. Great saphenous vein is the longest and largest vein of the body and takes origin from medial end of dorsal venous arch and ends in the femoral vein. Contains 10 to 20 valves and connected to deep veins by perforators, and dilatation of these veins are known as varicose vein. So this is the diagram showing great saphenous vein. It starts from dorsal venous medial end of dorsal venous arch, which is present over the dorsum of the foot. Then it runs upwards anterior to the medial malleolus. Then it runs in the thigh, in the leg, medial side of the leg. Then just below the knee it turns backwards and goes to the posterior side. Then above the knee joint it again comes anteriorly and runs upwards and ultimately pierces cribriform fascia present over the saphenous opening, and ultimately terminates into femoral vein. So this is one of the superficial vein, and superficial vein is connected by deep veins by perforators. If there is any pathology of valves or perforator, then there will be collection of blood in the vein, which lead to dilatation of vein, which is known as varicose vein. So these are the photographs showing the dorsal this great saphenous vein. Here the diagram showing photograph showing varicose vein. Now the lymph nodes present in the superficial fascia is known as superficial inguinal lymph nodes because it is present in inguinal region. So it is present as a T-shaped manner. This one it is divided into two groups. One is vertical group and another is horizontal group. Horizontal group is again divided into medial and lateral. So this is lateral and this one is medial group. The medial group takes the lymphatic drainage from the inguinal part or external genital part and the lower part of abdomen, while the lateral part takes lymphatic drainage from lower lateral part of abdomen and gluteal region, while the vertical group takes lymphatic drainage from the rest of the lower limb. So this is vertical group. Now the subcutaneous bursae. There are various bursae around the knee joint. Out of these two are most important. They are prepatellar bursa and subcutaneous infrapatellar bursa. Prepatellar bursa is present anterior to the patella as shown in this photograph, and involvement or pathology of this bursa will lead to housemaid's knee और माइनर्स बीट नी. हाउसमेट्स मतलब जो बाई घर में पोछा लगाती है, तो उसके इंजुरी के कारण प्रीपटेलर बर्सा इन्वॉल्व होता है, एंड दिस विल लीड टू प्रीपटेलर बर्साइटिस. एंड सबक्यूटेनियस इंफ्रापटेलर बर्सा will lead to, और इन्फ्लेमेशन ऑफ दिस बर्सा will lead to क्लर्जी मेंस. क्लर्जी मेंस एक प्राइस थे जो पूजा के लिए घुटनों के बल झुक के पूजा करते थे. So involvement of this bursa will lead to clergyman's knee. Now the deep fascia. Deep fascia is also known as fascia lata here in the thigh. Now the attachment. So there are two attachments: superficial, superior attachment and inferior attachment. Superiorly, it is attached to this pubic tubercle, then inguinal ligament, this one inguinal ligament, then outer lip of iliac crest, then lumbosacral fascia, then sacrotuberous ligament. This one is sacrotuberous ligament, and then coccyx and sacrum. So these are the superior attachment, and inferiorly it is attached to the bony prominences around the knee joint. Now there are three modifications of deep fascia: iliotibial tract, saphenous opening, and intermuscular septa. We will see one by one. So this is iliotibial tract. This is band like structure, 2 to 3 centimeter in width, and superiorly it has two slips. One is superficial and another one is deep. Superficial slip is attached to the outer lip of iliac crest, and inner lip is attached to the margin of acetabulum, and inferiorly it is attached to anterolateral part of this lateral condyle of tibia. The importance of iliotibial tract is it gives attachment of two muscles, that is gluteus maximus and tensor fascia lati. The 3/4 part of gluteus maximus is attached over here. Okay, and another importance is since it is attached to knee joint and the knee around the knee joint and hip joint, so it helps in extension and partial flexion in case of running and walking. So these are the iliotibial tract showing attachment of two muscles, this gluteus maximus and tensor fascia lati. Now the saphenous opening. This is saphenous opening. This is a oval opening in the superficial fascia of deep fascia of the thigh, and it is present 4 centimeter below and lateral to the pubic tubercle. This location is very important. You must know 4 centimeter below and lateral to the pubic tubercle. One fascia is there which covers the this saphenous opening is known as cribriform fascia. Cribri means hole, so there are multiple holes are present in the cribriform fascia. So there are some structures which pierces cribriform fascia, and these are superficial external pudendal artery, superficial external superficial epigastric artery, and superficial circumflex iliac artery, and last one is great saphenous vein. So this is saphenous opening. Now the intermuscular septa. The deep fascia gives intermuscular septa internally, which divides the thigh into 3 compartments. So it gives 3 intermuscular septa: medial intermuscular septum, lateral intermuscular septum, and posterior intermuscular septum, and divides the thigh into anterior compartment, medial compartment, and posterior compartment. So this is all about the front of thigh. In next video you will be taught about the femoral triangle. Thank you.